There are really only 3 ways to attack at the kitchen line in pickleball. If you're not using them correctly, you're just giving points away. By the end of this video, you will be able to be a better attacker. The first way to attack in pickleball is a speed up off the bounce. When we are in that dinking rally, there are going to be times where the ball is bouncing, but it's just sitting there dead. That is the case that we're going to want to speed up the ball and not just hit another dink back. If we do so, that's giving up the opportunity to apply offense and pressure. When we're hitting this off the bounce speed up, a couple main things we want to think about is getting our feet set early. Early feet and paddle preparation. Our paddle will drop below the ball and that paddle head will drop near the ground. From this position, we're going to allow ourselves to accelerate up the back of the ball, which will allow us to get that topspin needed to keep the ball in the courts. A couple of errors that I see when players are trying to hit speed ups off the bounce is they're swinging forward too fast. In other words, when you swing forward to the ball, you're going to get pace, but you're not going to get the ball to dip down in the court. We have to make sure we start below the ball and finish at that opposite shoulder. This is going to allow us that topspin and get that consistency. Another reason that I see players missing their speed ups is they're not going for a good location. They just get the ball, they see the ball, and they hit it as hard as they can with no intent behind it. We want to make sure that you realize that the most important thing when it comes to attacking in pickleball is location. Location is everything. There are a few locations in pickleball that I really like to go at when I'm attacking. If you are being attacked yourself, chances are you don't like to get attacked at the dominant hip or shoulder or that chicken wing area. You also maybe don't like to get attacked when you extend for the backhand side. Where are players' ready positions? Usually right in front of them, which means, typically speaking, a ball straight at the player, they're going to punch it back at you hard. We want to make sure that we're using those good locations like the chicken wing or the extended backhand. Now, with that extended backhand position, every once in a while, you're going to come across a player who has a two-handed backhand counter. If you know they have a two-handed backhand, we're probably going to want to stay away from this position and go more towards jamming them up again, maybe towards that chicken wing dominant hip position. If you're still struggling with your attacks, we have created a free resource for you. Make sure you visit attackmasterclass.com or scan the QR code below. The next way to attack in pickleball is to reach in and take the ball out of the air. By doing this, you're limiting the time your opponent has to react and get set, so you're catching them off guard. When you reach in, we want to make sure that we're still starting below the ball so we can get that topspin needing. If there's a ball up here, no reason to get that topspin and we can just push the ball on the ground. When we are reaching in and taking it out of the air, we have to stay balanced with both feet established and positioned at the kitchen line. If we are ever in an awkward position with our feet staggered, maybe one forward or one back, we're not going to want to attack that ball since we're in an awkward position to do so. There are 2 ways to attack when you are leaning in and taking it out of the air. The first way is the roll. When you're hitting the roll, whether it's on the forehand side or the backhand side, it is a slower swinging shot. We're not accelerating very fast. We're simply starting below the ball, getting a flat paddle face so we can brush up the back of it and jam them up, typically at that chicken wing area. On the forehand side, we lay our wrists back to get that paddle position correctly. We start below the ball just like the backhand side, and we finish. Some players like to finish on the same side of their body. Other players like to finish across their body at their opposite shoulder. Either one is just fine. Simply make sure we are starting below the ball. That is the key. The second way to attack out of the air is a flick. Very similar to the roll, but the flick, we are going to use a motorcycle wrist position. So we're going to get that wrist positioned back and we are going to accelerate forward. I want you to think about throwing a frisbee. We are not going to intentionally break the wrist when we swing, but there will be some momentum that carries our wrist forward. When we keep this paddle face closed, that allows me to get the ball down, and that acceleration with the arm allows me to get that pace that I need to catch them off guard. You can also flick on the forehand side. However, it's not going to be a frisbee motion. We're simply getting our paddle face set, either flat paddle face or slightly closed, and we are going to work on hitting the top edge of the ball. When I get the top half of the ball, that allows me to accelerate through, get a little bit of topspin, and get the ball to dip down at the feet and apply that pressure. The key to both the roll and the flick and any attack that you're hitting out of the air is balance. We have to make sure our stance is nice and wide so we can stay balanced throughout the shot, because remember, chances are, even after the roll or the flick, the ball is going to come back. If we are in an unbalanced position and we're falling over, we're not going to be ready for that next ball. Golden rule of pickleball, every ball comes back. The last way to attack in pickleball is actually to hit topspin dinks. Now you may be thinking dinks are not forms of attacks. If you have the right mindset, they absolutely are. When we're thinking of moving our opponents around and applying pressure, we can think of using our dinks as attacks. So many players, when they hit their dinks, they're very dead and there's no purpose to them. We want to make sure that no matter what dink we are trying to hit, there is a purpose behind it. If we have the opportunity, we are going to use that topspin so we can move our opponents around on the court and make them feel uncomfortable. Now, speaking of dinking, if you still struggle with your dinks, make sure you check out the video above, because I made a video all about how to dink, the most common errors, and how to fix them. If I'm hitting with good topspin, that's really going to allow my opponent to feel pressured and to feel uncomfortable. One main thing when we're hitting topspin dinks, whether you're taking it out of the air or off the bounce, we have to make sure that your own shot gets to bounce on the other side. Why is that so important to get it to bounce? Well, the main reason is if they can take it out of the air, they've just neutralized the point, and chances are they can maybe do something at me. So I have to make sure that ball bounces, then it's going to kick because of that topspin and really push them off the court and make them feel uncomfortable. The last thing I want to mention about topspin dinks as attacks is location. Two of my favorite places to go are middle of the court and cross court. Now make sure that we are mixing them up very frequently. I usually like to say never go to the same dinking spot more than twice in a row. Once we get to 3, 4, and 5 times in a row, it becomes a rhythm and a habit that our opponent will now feel comfortable and they'll know exactly where you're going. So keep mixing up the targets, move the middle to pull them out wide. Make sure we're always looking for that next ball so we can set up our attacks.